Let's sit down to my favorite bar. Been rocking for 21 years so far. The Green Turtle gonna have some.
Welcome to the original Green Turtle in Ocean City, a neighborhood favorite with a mouth-watering menu, the best bar in town, a huge game room, plus the apparel and gift shop. There's nothing like the original Green Turtle in Ocean City.
Let's sit down to the turtle again tonight, yeah.
Welcome to the Comfort Inn Gold Coast. Conveniently located just 1 block from the beach and adjacent to shopping at the Gold Coast Mall and the movie theater. Newly renovated and open year-round with a marvelous bayfront view. Visit us on the web at comfortgoldcoast.com and see our hot deals and great golf packages, or simply call our direct reservation line to plan your stay.
Ocean City, Maryland is the hottest golf destination on the East Coast, and it's just a short drive away. With 17 championship golf courses designed by legends of the game, greats like Jack Nicklaus, Robert Trent Jones, Arthur Hills, and Pete Dye have changed the coastal landscape here. When you pair coastal golf with exciting nightlife, excellent dining, 10 miles of white sandy beach, and a world-famous boardwalk, it's no wonder why great golf is just the beginning in Ocean City, Maryland. Plan and book your next golf getaway today by visiting oceancitygolf.com or by calling 800-4OC-GOLF.
Going to say no, too. And welcome back. It's Monday Night Live, the original Green Turtles Ravens Wrap Show. Ravens vs. 44 from the original 116th Street and Coastal Highway in North Ocean City as we roll along here, week number 6. And don't forget.
We got to give a shout out to Harry. I mean, he's in mid-season form.
Oh, he is. Looking good, feeling good.
That's playoff form, really.
We need to get a camera on him next time. We got to get the Harry cam. We'll get it right on him.
You could take that in a number of ways, couldn't you?
Yeah, I guess that's true. Hey, don't forget, and for folks at Facebook Live, and of course, Ravens vs. 44 knows, but for our friends at Facebook Live, Ravens 24/7, if you're headed down to Ocean City for the holidays, come down to the show here Mondays at 6. Give yourself a chance, that is, at the ticket giveaways that we have, courtesy of jctickets.net. The second pair of tickets we're going to draw for the Houston Texans game, who, by the way, had a nice win at Kansas City yesterday. That game's November 17th. We'll do the drawing on the 11th, again, courtesy of jctickets.net. So be here. You got to be here for the tickets.
It's funny, Mike, how 1 week to the next teams can look so much different. Like Kansas City Chiefs, unbeatable 2 weeks ago, right? Now they've lost 2 in a row at home.
That's the thing you see in the NFL.
And they've got a tough game this week on a short week on Thursday night in Denver.
Yeah, they do.
That's a team that's playing really good defensive football.
Well, yes. Offensively, that's, boy, that Broncos-Titans game, that reminded you of some old AFC Central games between the Ravens and the Titans.
Reminded me of some old Joe Flacco games.
Yeah, right. That's true. That's true. All right, you got some videos that you want to break down a couple of games, and I'll do my best to relay them to our audience. We don't have the setup here tonight. We will next time, though. We will definitely do that.
Okay, well, this is the opening kickoff.
Our Facebook Live folks will see that, yeah.
And the opening kickoff, as we know, went for a 92-yard return. But I found it to be interesting, Mike, for 2 reasons. One, it was short and not very high. As you can see from this, it wasn't all that high that Justin did against the Steelers effectively. Mm-hmm. And when they show this blocking from the back, Wilson isn't even touched.
No, they blocked that up perfectly.
John Garrett used to always say, every play is drawn up to score a touchdown. And that's true, because this guy's supposed to block that guy.
Right.
If everybody does their assignment perfectly, every play is a touchdown.
Of course, that never happens.
No, but this one was designed
Well, that
perfectly.
was a rare one that did, yeah.
Right.
You're absolutely right. By the way, I mean, you've got Lamar now. Joe's gone. John can enter back in the building, I think.
He's become a Broncos fan.
Has he? Okay. But you're right. That was blocked up perfectly there. But I think we talked about what the Ravens tried to do on special teams with Tucker. They tried to entice those kick returners to come out and field it at the 5 or 10 and give them a reason to think, hey, we're going to get beyond the 25. And then if you kick it high enough, they return it. You're hoping your coverage team obviously gets down there and holds them, before the 25. And you heard Mike Tomlin talk about that. He's like, did you see our special teams? Did you see Justin Tucker and what he did to our special teams? He's like, yeah, I'm kicking off instead of having them kick to us.
Yeah, the thing is with those kickoffs is I think, you could get the team down to the 15-yard line and not the 25. And that's 10 yards of field position, and that's great. But it seems to me that there's just as much risk of it working the other way.
Well, and you saw that.
And not only that,
If it's not a good
the
kick,
wear and tear on these players.
Yeah.
You know, you got to take that into consideration too. I mean, if you kick the ball through the end zone, and wouldn't you say that Justin Tucker could do that anytime he wants to?
Probably.
I just say do that.
Yeah, there you go. What's up next?
Next we have, and I'm better at this week, Mike.
Yeah, well, you don't have the limited mouse,
right?
Because we're not hooked up to the TV on the HDMI here.
Well, I shouldn't have spoke to.
Oh yeah,
because I can't find it again.
Well, the next play is going to be one of the creative screen passes that they had that Greg Roman is known for drawing up.
Greg Roman is. We're not used to the Ravens really executing screens very well in years past.
Or being creative for that matter.
Because they didn't. I don't think the quarterbacks ever really sold it that well. But in this case, they have a fake to. That's not the wrong one.
Chris Moore.
Here we go. It's a fake to Chris Moore, who's running like a little bubble behind the line of scrimmage, and then you throw it back to Mark Ingram. And this is just, I think, one block from being, really a big play.
Yeah.
I think that maybe Lamar held it on just a tad too long, but some nice blocks out in open field by that Matt Skura there.
And what our live audience isn't seeing, so they lined up, if you remember the play, they lined up with two guys to the left in doubles there, and they brought Chris Moore on what we call rocket motion, which the rocket motion goes behind the quarterback, jet motion goes in front of the quarterback and behind the offensive line. They brought him around. They had a running back. They had Ingram next to Jackson. And, Jackson goes, he fakes to the right to Moore, and then comes back and hits Mark Ingram on the screen to the left. And that's a play you talked about with Ronnie Stanley getting out in space, blocking the force, which is usually the cornerback there, maybe a safety. Yeah.
And the thing I like about those plays is that Lamar Jackson, because of his presence and his unique skill set, he spreads the field in a unique way. And I think it's not to take anything away from Gus Edwards' 2018 season, but I think a huge part of his effectiveness, he averaged 5.4 yards per carry when Lamar started last year. He never did that in college. He was 4.2 in his best season at Rutgers. So the fact that Lamar spreads the field so well really opens up that offense. They start doing some things like this, Mike. That's even more for those defenses to think about, and I think it opens up bigger plays for them.
It's something that got passed along to me, Tony, and I won't give the guy that told me this, but one of my coworkers up in Baltimore told me. He said, Mike, because he's one of the guys that covers the team, and he's at the training facility pretty much every day. He said, talking to these guys, and he said, Mike, I'm not blowing smoke here. He said, talking to the other offensive players, he said, they are genuinely excited about this offense and what they can do. And he said they've got some things that he said that essentially the NFL has not seen yet. And we haven't seen it yet either. We've seen some of these plays be run by college teams and all that. I'm not sure that we've seen anything schematically that, isn't out there already. But there are some things, at least in the NFL, that supposedly the Ravens have up their sleeve. They haven't run yet, but be looking for them in the weeks ahead. At some point, they got to unveil them and give teams something to think about, but that might have been a little taste of what you're talking about there. Yeah,
it's something to think about, something to look forward to.
It had me excited for him talking about it. I was like, okay, what are we talking about here?
Right, because I think the one thing that's missing from the offense is explosive plays. We saw that in week 1, but we haven't seen much of it since. Excuse me. So I think if they add some explosiveness. Now, I know Marquise Brown not being in the game yesterday probably eliminated some of that potential.
And John Harbaugh was kind of up in the air about whether Brown and Anawasar would go on Sunday.
This coming week, too, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. It's really early, though, so it's Monday.
So, but he did say, I think it was as late as Friday, that they're going to try to get those guys on the field this past weekend, and the doctor said no. But you can't deny that sometimes if a guy is iffy, if they were playing a really important game, not that they're all not important, Mike, but they knew they were going to beat the Bengals. So if they're playing the Patriots, maybe those guys are playing that week.
Yeah. No, that's probably fair. In today's NFL, that's a little risk that you take, but teams still do that. Hey, they only won by 6, though, Tony. They only won by 6. All right, we talked about the Andrews leap. Do you want to flip ahead to the final
final
clip?
We've seen the Ravens tight end Mark Andrews do this a lot this season. We've seen Nick Boyle do it during his career. I guess Hayden Hurst is next.
Yeah.
But I just think that, when you look at these plays and you look at some of the things that happen after the play, I'm always worried that he's going to get hurt, number one. And number two, they really don't produce that much yardage that they wouldn't have, as we said earlier in the program, have accomplished if he had just barreled through these guys as big as he is.
Yeah.
So this is the play. It's a 2nd and 18, and they've got a chance of converting this. This is with a few minutes or under 2 minutes in the second quarter. And there he goes leaping, and he fumbles the ball, and it bounces right into
and I
the
think
Cincinnati Bengals linebacker's hands.
I think you made a really good point in that when he leapt, there were 3 guys around him.
Right.
3 guys that even if he got over that guy, one of the other 2 or both of them could give him a good jolt and possibly knock it out there. If you're one-on-one, okay, yeah, maybe you could give that a pass. But, hell, there are 4 guys there for that matter. And, yeah, he did knock it out himself, but that can happen when you try to do something like that. So I'm hoping that he's smarter about that, or if he does it, it's close to the sideline, or if he does fumble, the ball goes out of bounds. But, you can't just be blanket. It doesn't matter. I'm going to keep doing it. Hopefully smarter about that.
Yeah, I think.
Remember when Steve Bisciotti got all over Max Williams when he was down here a couple of years ago? And he said, yeah, I'm angry at Max Williams right now. You should have the ball stripped or fumbled by some corner on the tight end. Right. Something like that, I'm not sure he wanted that to go viral, but it did.
Well, I think that this is one of those things where John Harbaugh has to sit down with him and say, look, you're a great player. You do a lot of great things on the field. We can't lose you.
It ain't happening. Yeah.
We can't lose you.
All right, so your fourth clip here.
The 4th clip is, I think that the people that were at the game probably thought that Lamar Jackson overthrew Willie Snead on which should have been a touchdown.
And it looked like it initially, yeah.
And it looked like it on TV until they showed the replay. And the replay tells a different story. And the story that it tells is that this looks like it's a read between the quarterback and the receiver. And they weren't on the same page on this particular route. And to me, when they show behind the quarterback, Mike, it's pretty clear that Lamar read it correctly and Willie did not. So that
and you can hear him say, "Keep going." Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the coverage just comes. I mean, that looks like it's an easy touchdown. It looks very similar to the play that they on the opposite hash that they scored in Miami.
Well, and they ran 2 verticals there. He's the slot guy, and then they ran a 3rd guy underneath Snead, and Snead was able to get down the field. And if he kept going,
the defender went with the underneath guy.
Right. Defender went with the underneath guy, so he came open like that. We've seen that before. The Ravens have given a couple of those up this year. And, that would have been touchdown there. And, the other play I'm thinking about, too, is right before the end of the half, he just needs one more second to get out of bounds. They get a field goal. They get a field goal attempt there. That was a heck of a joystick play. That's a Madden play there. Just 1 second, I'm thinking, God, he's so close, And I know he was looking at the clock, too. And at least he's very self-aware of that stuff, and you got to give him credit for that.
I think that's one of his best qualities, that he's self-aware of the things that he doesn't do well. He's not focused on the things that he does well. It's like he expects that of himself. And you got to love that about him as a quarterback. He's more worried about what can I do to fix the plays that I screwed up. And that's what he's thinking about right now.
Final notes here before we go to break and wrap things up. I thought Boyle blocked well in the game. Nick Vigil, by the way, was a beast for Cincinnati. I thought Hubbard gave Brown some fits at right tackle there, the defensive end. Elliott had a nice breakup to help Marlon Humphrey out on a 3rd down play early in the 3rd quarter to Tyler Boyd.
Absolutely.
Yeah, did a nice job there. And I think we talked about misdirection plays. A couple of times you see the guard and tackle pulling to one side, and then they ran a jet sweep or the running back to the other side. That is truly old-school West Coast football, or times when you pull both guards opposite ways like that. You know what's happening. But in this case, both went that way, and the running back went that way, and you kind of get the defensive end crash it down. You catch him, and then those guys are off, Katie barred the door down the other side.
Wormley made a couple of nice plays crashing down from the outside.
He did. He did. Chris Wormley did a nice job. All right, we'll take a timeout, wrap things up next. Monday Night Live, the original Green Turtles Ravens Wrap Show.
JC Tickets provides first-class trips to Ravens road games, including airfare, 4-star hotels, game tickets, and cocktail parties. We also help provide great seating locations to all Ravens home games. JC Tickets, where the games begin. Visit us at jctickets.net.
It's time to go. Toyota, with the best resale value of any brand, again for the 3rd year in a row. Because when it comes to holding value, nobody does it better than Toyota. In fact, Toyota has 3 of the top 10 ranked by KBB.com for 2019, including Tacoma at number 1. So whether you're searching for America's favorite car, SUV, or adventure-ready truck, this is where you want to shop. Go reliable, go Toyota, and let's go places.